Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Care Part 2. This is Part 2 in our 10-session course for self-care. And today we are going to work, first we're going to talk a little bit about the shoulders. And so today we're going to work on opening our shoulders and releasing any sort of tension or stress that we might have accumulated in our shoulders. We'll also obviously work on our legs as well, but the goal of today would be to connect with our shoulders just a little bit more. And just a little bit of information about our shoulders. They're a place where we hold a lot of stress. Someone once told me they're the trash can of our body, which is interesting. But they do hold a lot of our lymphatic system, which is designed to process out any toxins or illness or anything that floods our body. So that kind of goes along with why our shoulders are seen that way. But also if we have any sort of stress from helping others or being in a caregiver role or being a helper or a healer, we tend to hold our stress in our shoulders because that is also the energetic center of overwhelm, or when we begin to feel like the weight of the world. Literally, they have the saying, the weight of the world is on our shoulders. And so that's where we store our stress. If we are in any sort of helping, giving, caregiver type of position. So just to be aware of that and why it's important to release the stored stress and trauma that we might be holding in our shoulders. They also get really tight just if we have jobs where we're sitting a lot or we have to drive a lot. We can hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. So hopefully this class is helpful to releasing some of that tension in our shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just welcome yourself onto your mat. Find a nice comfortable seat where you can be for a little bit. We're going to do some breathing and some checking in before we start our movement practice. So welcome yourself onto your mat. Take a nice big deep breath in at your own pace. And as you breathe out, close down your eyes or focus your gaze downward. Let's just do this 2 or 3 more times. Deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just settling deeper into your practice, your space, your mat. You can just go ahead and return your breath to its normal breathing pattern. And with your eyes closed, just begin to check in with your body first. Just noticing any areas that might be calling to you right now. Either areas of tension or of ease. Remember, we want to give both the same amount of attention. Just noticing where you might feel tension or you might feel ease within your body right now. Beginning to check in with your heart space, your emotions, just noticing any emotions that might be flowing through you right now, or any emotions that kind of bubble up to the surface as you begin to pay attention to your heart space. Again, doing this with curiosity and applying a non-judgmental approach. Just allowing yourself to have these feelings, these emotions, knowing that they're there for a purpose. Again, giving the same amount of attention to the uncomfortable emotions as you do to the comfortable ones. And then moving on into your mental space, that space right between or right behind your eyes. Just noticing what's going on there right now, today. Is it crowded or full? Is it peaceful and gentle? What kind of thoughts are floating through your mind? And again, bringing awareness, but also some acceptance. Allowing your mind to be just as it is today without trying to change it or fix it. Just allowing it to be exactly as it is. Letting your thoughts come and go, not trying to attach to anyone in particular. Just noticing. And go ahead and take a nice big deep breath in. Full exhale out. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, returning your gaze to the screen, and we'll go ahead and begin our warm-up for today. And as always, we begin with our shoulder rolls. So as you breathe in, shrug your shoulders up, and as you breathe out, roll your shoulders back. Breathing in, shrug your shoulders up, and breathing out, roll your shoulders back. So we're connecting with our shoulders here in this first warm-up. Pay particular attention to how your shoulders are talking to you today in this direction. Any sensations or sounds, anything they want to tell you today. And then pausing there, deep breath in, right? Shrug your shoulders up and roll them forward as you breathe out. So reversing the direction of your shoulder circles. And perhaps noticing any difference between this direction and the one we just did. Again, connecting with your shoulders. What do they have to say? What are they trying to tell you today? Let's do one more. And bring your shoulders back down to neutral. Bring your right hand down to right next to you. Keeping both hips on the ground, breathing and lift your left arm up and over, reaching those fingertips over to that opposite wall. See if you can release your right shoulder so it's not shrugging up into your ear, and just open that left side body, directing your breath deep into that left side body. And as always, see if you can open from hip all the way to fingertip. Just feeling any sensations. Really being present with your body. And on your next out breath, bringing that left hand down beside you and switching sides, reaching your right arm up and over, leaving both hips on the ground, stretching your right fingers towards that opposite wall, releasing your left shoulder from your ear, just breathing deeply into your right side body. Seeing if you can release from hip all the way to fingertip, just with your breath. And on your next out breath, returning your right hand down beside you. Taking a nice deep breath in, raise your arms up above your head, and as you breathe out, twist over to the right, one hand in front, one hand behind. Pause here for a moment and just some nice deep breaths into your spinal cord. Really reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. And begin to breathe into your spinal cord, releasing any tension it might be holding. And then on your next in-breath, release your hands up to the sky. And as you breathe out, twist over to the left, one hand in front, one hand behind, and just pause here. And again, direct your breath into your spinal cord. A nice big deep breath in, raise your arms up towards the sky, and as you breathe out, let your hands float down to your sides. We're gonna come into our tabletop position. Oh no, I'm sorry, we're not. You're going to sit in the position you were just in, and we're gonna do seated cat-cow. I was gonna move us into traditional cat-cow, but we are gonna do seated cat-cow today. So find your way back into your seated position. And you're gonna bring your arms around in front of you like you're hugging around something or someone who really needs some love today. Even if it's yourself, please give yourself that love as well. And then as you breathe in, you're gonna open your arms wide and really reach back behind you, curving your, kind of pushing your belly button forward and looking up. So you have a nice arch in your back. And then as you breathe out, you're gonna roll your spine back and hug forward, like you're hugging that thing or person who really needs it. And then you're gonna breathe in, you're gonna open up again, arching your back and looking up. And then as you breathe out, rolling your spine back and looking down, hugging forward. And then just continue at your own pace, opening with the in-breath and hugging forward with the out-breath. Going just as deep as your breath and your body will allow. In our yoga practices here with me, we really want to honor our body and where it's at. We only want to listen to our body when we are in these yoga practices. Let's do 2 more full rounds of our seated cat-cow. And when you're done, meet me in our table. Now we'll go into our tabletop position. Meet me in tabletop position. So your knees are under your hips and your wrists are under your shoulders. What you're going to do is you're going to walk your hands forward towards the top of your mat so that they are no longer underneath your shoulders. You're going to take your left hand and you're going to weave it underneath your right armpit. And you're going to bring the side of your head down to the mat and then walk your right hand straight out up towards that top edge of the mat. So you're in a twisted child's pose here. And then if you can draw your attention to your hips, if they have strayed over to the right, see if you can bring them back over your knees or towards that position. And that's just going to deepen this twist and really get deep into your shoulders. So as much as you can get your hips over your knees. But again, listening to your body, always the goal. And then using your breath to release wherever you need it. And then walking your right hand back, pushing yourself up, gently releasing your left hand, bringing it to the mat and kind of up towards that top corner. And then taking your right hand and weaving it underneath your left armpits, just switching sides, bringing that side of your head down to the mat, walking your left hand towards the top of the mat, and then checking your hips and seeing if you can bring them over your knees if they have strayed. And then breathe on this side into any tension. Walking your left hand back, pushing up, gently releasing your right hand, keeping your hands where they're at, curling your toes under, pushing your bottom up and back into your first downward facing dog. So just find your way into a nice downward dog here. This is the first one for today or for this practice. And so just be kind to yourself. You might feel some extra tightness and that's okay. But just remember the movement is from your hips, so pulling your hips up and back, releasing the crown of your head towards the floor. You can even like pedal your heels up and down a little bit, see if that helps release the back of your legs a little bit. Whatever feels nice or available or necessary for your body right now. Nice big deep breaths into the back side of your body. Will help release any tension as well. And looking up towards the top of your mat, step or hop your feet in between your hands. Keep your knees bent pretty liberally here. Bring your hands to the mat and release the crown of your head towards your mat. And then as you feel a little bit, into this pose, begin to lift your hips up towards the sky until you feel that nice stretch down the back of your legs. Don't go too far. We don't want to feel pain. It's okay if your knees stay very bent, as long as you're feeling some nice sensation down the back of your legs. The the gym teachers of years ago said it's not a forward fold unless your legs are straight, and I don't agree. I think a forward fold is a forward fold, and your knees should be just as they are, so give yourself some grace. Most of us have tight hamstrings. Nice deep breath in. Raise your arms up to the sky if you can, coming up onto your tippy toes, practicing your balance a little bit, stretching your fingertips up towards the ceiling, pulling your hips down towards the ground. Really nice, big, full body stretch, breathing in and out. On your next out breath, releasing your heels to the mat, sweeping your arms down, bringing your hands to heart center, and just taking a moment, closing your eyes if you like, to just pay attention to how your body, your heart, your mind feels now that we're standing. Our bodies are a little bit warmer. Perhaps take this time to set an intention for your practice. And if one doesn't come forward, no worries. You'll still benefit from this practice. All right, let's go ahead and do some sun salutations, some easy sun salutations. We'll do 2 full rounds of sun salutations. So you're positioned up towards the top of your mat. Remember, each movement gets a breath, and I'll guide you through that. But just do the best you can and listen to your body, always. So here we go. Nice big deep breath in. Raise your arms up. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, step your left foot back. Breathing out, step your right foot back. Down dog. Breathe in. As you breathe out, plank pose. Breathe in. As you breathe out, knees, chest, chin, come down to the mat. Breathe in, shoulders up. Breathe out, down dog. Breathe in, right foot forward. Breathe out, left foot forward. Breathe in, rise up. And mountain pose. Breathe in, rise up. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, right foot back. Breathe out, left foot back, down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out, plank pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, knees, chest, chin, down to the mat. Breathe in, shoulders up. Breathe out, down dog. Breathe in, left foot forward. Breathe out, right foot forward. Breathe in, rise up. And mountain pose. Breathe in, rise up. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, left foot back. Breathe out, right foot back, down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out, plank pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, knees, chest, chin, down to the mat. Breathe in, shoulders up. Breathe out, down dog. Breathe in, right foot forward. Breathe out, left foot forward. Breathe in, rise up. And mountain pose. Last time, breathe in, rise up. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, right foot back. Breathe out, left foot back, down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out, plank pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, knees, chest, chin. Come down to the mat. Breathe in, shoulders up. Breathe out, down dog. Breathe in, left foot forward. Breathe out, right foot forward. Breathe in, rise up. And mountain pose. Nice job. All right. Let's get into our standing poses. Remember, focus. We will be doing some hip work, but focus is on our shoulders today. So from the top of your mat, you're going to step your right foot back about 3/4 of the way. And looking down at your feet, they should be on railroad tracks. Your left foot should be pointing up towards the top of your mat, and your back foot, your right foot should be at a 45-degree angle up towards the top corner of the room. Your front leg is bent and your back leg is straight. We're preparing ourselves for warrior one here. So your hips are facing forward, your gaze is forward. Breathing in, you raise your arms up towards the sky. And here we're really working with some opposing energies in our body. So we're rising up through the crown of our head and our fingers. And then we're also pulling down through our hips and grounding into the ground. So in our warrior poses, we call this, I call it rooting down to rise up, or empowered, grounded empowerment, however you want to think about it. But the warrior poses are really powerful poses if we work with these opposing energies. So we're rising up and we're also rooting down. And nice big deep breaths. Finding your strength. And then sweeping your arms down towards that front foot. You're going to step your right foot back all the way back for a low lunge. Option here, modification here, you can always bring that right knee down to the mat, okay? So if you feel like that is where you're at today, perfectly fine. Otherwise, keeping it up off of the ground, we're gonna come up into our crescent lunge. So finding your balance, your low lunge, breathing in, using your strength to rise up into your crescent lunge. Here's what it looks like if your knee is on the ground. So moving into your crescent lunge on this side, our fingers straight up to the sky. And from here, you're going to take a nice big deep breath in, arch your back and bring your hands into goalposts and look up. And then breathing in, breathing out, raise your arms up to the sky and your eyes go forward. So breathe in, arch your back, look up. Breathing out, come up, look forward. Again, you can do this with your back knee on the ground. One more. Sweep your hands down towards that front foot. Pivot that back foot so that it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. Walk your left foot to the center. So that it's centered but still pointing towards that top edge. Rise up into your warrior two like we did last time. So finding your way into your warrior two, same opposing energies. Rooting down and rising up. So this time just the crown of your head rises up towards the ceiling. Gazes out over your left hand. Then reaching your left hand out over your left knee, bringing that arm down on top of your left leg. You're going to sweep your arm across like you would for extended side angles. So your right fingers are reaching towards that opposite wall. And then you're going to flip your palm and wrap your right arm around behind your back and look up. This is going to open your shoulder just a little bit deeper. Nice deep breaths here. You can do it. You are all very strong, very capable. And then releasing that right hand, coming back up through your warrior two, straightening your left knee and pivoting your left foot so that both feet are facing the long edge of your mat. Arms are still out to the side. Nice big deep breath in. Push your bottom back, fold forward, Bring your hands to the mat. Release the crown of your head. Find your way into this wide-legged forward fold. Your left hand is positioned right underneath your face, and your right arm is going to reach up towards the sky. So we're adding a bit of a twist here in our wide-legged forward fold. If you want a deeper twist, you can again wrap that right arm behind your back. Your gaze is up. And using your breath, breathing deep into these poses, releasing that stress, releasing that tension. No need to hold on to it. Releasing that right hand back down to the mat, placing your right hand underneath your face and lifting your left arm straight up to the ceiling, or flipping your palm and wrapping your left arm behind your back, wherever you're at. And one side might be different than the other, and that is perfectly okay. And in fact, very normal. And use your breath. Find that strength. Find that release. And release that left arm, that left hand back down to the mat. Take a moment just to readjust, realign, take a few deep breaths. And then walk your hands over towards your right foot and pivot both feet so that they are both facing that top edge of your mat, that short edge of your mat. You're going to step your left leg forward just a little bit so that we're preparing for warrior one on this side. So again, your feet are on railroad tracks. That right foot is pointing towards the short edge of your mat, and your left foot is pointing up towards the top corner of the room. You're going to rise up into your warrior one here. Front leg is bent, back leg is straight, hips are forward, gaze is forward, and begin to rise up as you root down. Finding that grounded empowerment. All such strong warriors in this time in life. Some might say difficult, but we are all warriors nonetheless. Deep breaths. And sweep your hands down towards your right foot. Step your left foot back for that low lunge. Again, option to drop your left knee to the mat. And then using all your strength, breathe in and rise up into your crescent lunge here. And then incorporating in our chest opener. So breathing in, arch your back, looking up. And as you breathe out, coming up and looking forward. Breathing in, arch and look up. And breathing out, coming up and looking forward. 2 more times. Sweeping your hands down towards that right foot, pivoting your left foot, readjusting it, walking your right foot towards the center of your mat, coming up into your warrior two on this side. Arms out to the side, gaze out over your right fingers, crown of the head reaching to the ceiling, hips pulling down towards the ground. Stretching your right hand out over your right toes, bringing your right arm down on top of your right leg. Sweep your left arm across your body. Reach those fingertips towards the opposite wall. Flip your palm and wrap your arm behind your back, looking up. You want a little bit deeper stretch in your shoulder, you can pull that left elbow towards the back wall. Release your left arm, come back through your warrior two. Straighten your right leg, pivot your right toes towards that long, so both feet are facing the long edge of your mat, pushing your bottom back, coming down into your extended or your wide-legged forward fold. Just taking a moment to release here. Let your upper body kind of hang. And then heel toe your feet till they're about a little wider than shoulder width. If you have any sort of knee issues or hip issues, please don't do this deep squat. Just come all the way down onto your bottom. But if you do, if you would like to do the deep squat, you can just go ahead and bring your bottom towards the mat, creating a deep bend in the knees. And if you come all the way, if you don't want to do the deep squat and you come all the way down onto your mat, you can just bring your soles of your feet together and let your knees just fall out for butterfly. Similar modifications, so totally up to you. And if, regardless of which position you're in, just taking some deep breaths and just allowing that tailbone to release, allowing our hips to release. Letting go of anything you don't need, just letting it fall out through your feet, your spine. Let it be absorbed by the earth. We released a lot of energy today and we just want to let it go. All right. So we're going to rise back up. So if you're in butterfly, just come back up onto your feet. We're going to move into our balance pose. So today we're going to combine, last session we did tree pose. Today we're going to combine our eagle arms with a variation of tree pose, because we're going to work up into our eagle pose for next session and future sessions. So same goes for the base of your body for tree pose. Really sticking that left leg into the ground and then bringing your right foot up to the inside of your left leg, wherever that feels available to you. And just making sure that wherever you put your right foot, it's not directly next to your knee. So it either needs to be below your knee or above your knee. So we don't want any knee injuries in yoga. And then from your tree pose, or you can do your eagle arms and then get into your tree pose. I'm going to show you the eagle arms. So you can take a nice big deep breath in and bring your arms up to the sides. And as you breathe out, sweep your arms in and cross them over each other. So you're making this V with your hands. And so this is one way of doing eagle arms. The other way is to just wrap your hands behind your shoulders. And I think of it kind of like an eagle beak. So that's another way of doing eagle arms. Or you can come back to that V position and see if you can clasp your pinky with your thumb. And that's another way of doing eagle arms. So as you can see, this is a way to get deep into our shoulders and also practice our balance. And if balance isn't, you know, available to you today, you can just do the eagle arms as well, since our focus is on the shoulders. And then go ahead and release that right foot down to the ground. Release your arms and just shake out whatever you need, however you need to. And then we'll switch sides. So again, getting real strong and rooted in your right leg, bringing your left foot to the inside of your right leg, wherever feels available on this side. Now here's the trickiest part of eagle arms. You have to remember which arm was underneath the first time you did it. It's usually the most comfortable arm. So breathing in, raise your arms up, and breathing out as you sweep your arms in. See if you can switch which arm was underneath when you did it the first time. And again, the same options. You can hug your shoulders, you can come into the V, you can see if you gotta flip around a little bit. See if your thumb can reach your pinky. There you go. It's always awkward. There's always one side that's super awkward. So if this feels super awkward, then you have got the right side, basically. Otherwise, you know, just do what your body wants you to do. And that's the most important thing. And go ahead and release your left foot to the ground. Release your arms and shake out all that extra stuff. All right. So you're going to meet me on your mat and you're on your bottom. You're going to center yourself long ways on your mat. You're going to just gently begin to lower yourself down onto the mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Tuck your shoulder blades under. Walk your heels towards your hands and your hands towards your heels, preparing for bridge. And then on your next out breath, lift your hips up towards the sky as high as they'll go. And the higher you go, the more you tuck your shoulders under. You can clasp your hands underneath your hips as well. That helps keep your shoulders nice and tucked. Bring your belly button in towards your spine, really nice, strong core. And then from here, we're just gonna lift one heel off the ground and place it back down. And then lift the other heel off the ground and place it back down. Just the heel, not the whole foot. Just lifting and returning, lifting and returning. This is an amazing front and back core exercise. It can be done inside a yoga flow and outside of a yoga flow. So if you only have 5 minutes to do a core exercise, this is a really good one. See if you can keep your belly button tight towards your spine and keep your hips lifted. Just continue lifting your heels, going at your own pace, taking a break when you need it. Listen to your body. Just a few more on each side. Release your hands if they're clasped. Release your hips down to the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Maybe rock back and forth or from side to side. Just releasing those core muscles. Nice deep recovery breaths. And releasing your feet to the mat, making sure you have enough room, stretching your left leg straight out in front of you, hugging your right knee in towards your chest. Give it a nice big squeeze. Give it some love, some appreciation. And then when you're ready, gently guide it across your right hip, keeping both shoulder blades on the ground. Nice supine twist here. This should feel really good. Your knee might not make it to the ground on the other side, and that's okay. The goal is to keep your shoulder blades on the ground. So as long as you're doing that, your knee can be however far off the ground it needs to be. And releasing that right leg, realigning your hips, stretching your right leg out in front of you, hugging your left knee into your chest, giving it a nice good squeeze, giving it some love and appreciation. When you're ready, keeping both shoulder blades on the ground, direct your left knee over your right hip. And you're turning your left leg back, realigning your hips, and preparing yourself for Shavasana. Remember the three typical ways we can Shavasana is our feet flat on the floor with our knees bent, our soles of our feet together and our knees out to the side, or our legs straight out in front of us. All three poses, our arms are down at our sides. If you want, or your body needs more grounding, centering energy, you can flip your palms down towards the ground. And if you need more up regulating or energetic energy, you can flip your palms up towards the sky. Nice big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, closing your eyes and settling deeper into the mat. Nice big deep breath in. Full breath out, settling just a bit deeper into the mat. Third time, deep breath in. Full breath out. Can you go just a bit deeper? Begin to notice your body as it makes contact with the ground. All the different points of your body connected to the ground. This beautiful earth takes nothing from us, It absorbs all of our energy, uses that to create new life, new things. Feel free with each breath to release anything you don't need into this forgiving ground, into this forgiving earth. Allow it to recycle and make new anything you no longer need. Gathering it in with each in-breath and releasing it with each out-breath. We'll be here for a few moments on our own. I'll let you know when the time is up, so please enjoy your Shavasana. If you're not ready to come out of Shavasana, please stay as long as you like in this wonderful pose. But if you are ready to come out, go ahead and begin to welcome some movement back into your body, perhaps starting with your feet and your hands. Maybe moving on to your knees, detaching your legs from the ground, or moving your knees back and forth. Maybe moving your head gently from side to side. Or even stretching your arms up above your head, releasing your back from the ground. Nice big deep breaths in as we come out of this pose. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, rolling over onto one side and pausing for a moment, allowing that blood to flow back through all our important organs, our heart, our brain, before we set up and go about our day. Final moment of reflection as we end our yoga session today. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up to seated, joining me in your seated pose. Thank you all for joining me today for this yoga session. I hope to see you next time, and I really appreciate you all. The light in me is a direct reflection of the light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you all.